We know that China is the largest producer and consumer of tobacco in the world, that there are over 300 million smokers.
1 million will die from tobacco-related causes this year, and that number will only increase. Interestingly, in China, while 60% of physicians smoke, very few nurses do. Thus, nurses have the potential to make major contributions in public health and reduce cancer risk by reducing tobacco use. Recently, the UCLA School of Nursing, the International Society of Nurses in Cancer Care, and the University of Hong Kong School of Nursing held a workshop to help nurses in China to take the first steps in reducing tobacco use.
Nurses are expected as role models for clients, and also providing health education is incorporated as one of their legal scope of practices.
The conference focused on the difference nurses can make in the smoking cessation. A lot of information was shared on the pioneering efforts that nurses in China are undertaking.
You may see, you may know from the previous speakers that our smoking prevalence in Hong Kong is around 11.8%, and that means there are 608,000 people daily smokers.
We want to identify oncology nurses' tobacco-related KAP levels from this study, and the next step to train the nurses, and finally the nurses could use what they have learned to guide the smokers to quit.
Talking, educating, and informing patients on where they can get help to stop using tobacco products is the first step to ending this battle. The health-related costs of tobacco use are enormous. Education on tobacco use, the damage it can cause, and the impact on a person's life is imperative for a nurse.
We have all these surveys demonstrating that nurses don't have the knowledge and the skill. So what now? What do you do about that? And I think there are many things. One is that all of you are here, and if all of you go home and get 2 or 3 of your colleagues to start doing some things at the individual level, nurse to patient, that is already going to help change. Next time the survey is going to show a little better results. There are things that Linda and I and others are doing research with, trying to figure out what is the best way to get the information to nurses, both nurses who are already in practice and nurses who are in nursing school. We can't just wait for the nursing schools, because meanwhile we have all these nurses already taking care of patients that need to know. So we have to do both the nurse who is already practicing and the nurse who is in nursing school.
Then, the critical question.
I would like to ask our speakers to share some of your opinions or suggestions for our nurses. Because in this morning, in the presentation, we find that some of the nurses do not think to do the tobacco control is their job. And also they do not have much motivation to do this to take this important role. So I'd like to invite our speakers to share some of your opinion or suggestion or recommendation for our nurses.
So the challenge will be to translate the evidence into practice in a way that will work in your setting.
Dr. Linda Sarna provided some ideas from her office at the School of Nursing.
There are several ways that nurses can get involved in addressing the issue of tobacco. One is through their national nursing organizations as well as their international nursing organizations, to make certain that it is on the radar, that it's part of their agenda. And frankly, it's just not that visible in many national nursing organizations. They also can become involved in some of the groups, such as the International Society of Nurses in Cancer Care, which has a very active task force. These are nurses that are interested in things related to cancer, and since tobacco is associated with 30% of cancer deaths, tobacco is on their radar, and that's very, very important.
Nurses have long battled against tobacco in the U.S., and now they are taking their message to nurses around the world. The 80 participants at the conference in Shenzhen left with information they can use to address the leading cause of cancer. Nurses will continue to take a leadership role in reducing the use of tobacco around the world. To learn more, please visit www.tobaccofreenurses.org.